But I got a question for Drake fans, and I'm a fan, right? What would make y'all? Somebody say Drake is still king. I don't know whose king he is, but he's not my king. Nor is Kendrick not my king, so I'm not gonna call another man king. Let's just start there. You know what I'm saying? Let's just start there. I just want to start there. He's not my king. If he's your king, say Drake is your king. Don't say he's the king. Let's just start there. Kendrick not my king. Cole not my king. None of these niggas are my king. First of all, now I might say King Kendrick because he is a king. Shout out to the bruh. But what I'm saying is that what could you hear about your so-called king that would make you feel different about him? Because at this point, I don't think it's anything. And it's probably the highest level of power that you have when there's nothing that a person can say that will make you feel different about them. Right? And even if you found that it was true. And this is like one of those things in hip-hop where you got people completely like as if they're your like cult. And therefore you can't think outside. There's some things I can hear about both of these guys that would detach me from the message of their music for sure. I don't even want to know everything about these guys for a particular reason. But these culture wars, these vulture wars, I think is incredibly smart when we get into them. And I think like once you really understand it and you really go back to the beginning, I'm gonna be honest, you gotta look at Drake, you gotta look at Young Thug. Right? When you look at Young Thug and you look at Drake, I think they represent 2 points in hip-hop where it really shifted and changed. And it was basically when, not only that and Lil Wayne, I'm going to have to say put Lil Wayne in there. These are 3 different points where I see hip-hop had a super change, right? When Drake first came out, there was a lot of people that was against him, right? There was a lot of people that was forming Voltron against him because they felt like this kid from Canada was really about to like sweep over, and he got like this machine behind him, and they was like, we got to stop this for this become the new it thing in hip hop, right? And then of course with the Meek Mill situation, he gave him the Taylor Swift moment, right? The Kanye and Taylor Swift moment. It was the perfect thing that he needed for his career to have that origin story to where he was able to be a hero against a so-called bully. Right? That was exactly what he needed. He gave him that Taylor Swift moment. But let's go back. When Lil Wayne was kissing on Birdman and the culture didn't respond in a way to where it was like, bro, that's weird. And niggas ain't dissing for that. And it was like, that's not hip hop. Right? What happened is, what you seen is everything became more industry at that point. And because it was so controlled by the industry and everybody wanted to participate in hip-hop, that they didn't say nothing because they wanted to get invited to parties. They still wanted to do tracks with them. They still wanted to be cool with them. So nobody said nothing, right? Hey, and this is when you seen things change, and this is when you seen things shift a whole lot. You feel me? And so for me, when I was watching that, I'm like, oh, hip-hop never gonna be the same, because that was a time where people used to call things out. People used to call things lame. People used to be like, that's not hip hop. People used to diss you just for things like that. You feel me? And so when that happened, it changed the standard and it lowered the standard in hip hop. Then you had Young Thug. When Young Thug came out, he came out. When I first seen him, he was with what's my bro from Filmo? Fig. Yeah, he was with Fig from Filmo. So I seen them come out as street dudes. I'm like, okay. Bro from Filmo Atlanta going on. And then I seen him come out with like the dresses and things of that nature. Yeah, JT, bigger figure. Then I seen him come out with the dresses, right? Then he started like doing hard and kissy faces, and it was ambiguous to where you couldn't tell if he was homosexual or heterosexual, and his rap style was like, you couldn't understand what he was saying. And I can tell there was this energy there where people wanted to criticize and say something, but they was afraid to. And then this started poking holes, right, in hip-hop, right? Because now the facades of all of these street guys and all these so-called gangsters, being who they say they are, right, had now started to get shown and exposed in a different light, right? Because nobody was saying nothing and everybody was co-signing it, so the world was confused. And this was introducing a new generation of young people. Yeah. So this was introducing a new generation of young people to follow that same path. And then the Young Thug came from when Lil Wayne started to switch over. right? Because Drake took his girl and took his crown, and then they told him he can't be. I remember Kendrick was like, bro, that shit fake and lame. That all this fake blood shit that this nigga doing, and so therefore, Nipsey took his crown. Nipsey was like, no, you can't do that, man. That's lame. He was on the Breakfast Club talking about that. You feel me? Then next thing you know, Lil Wayne is we find out that he was getting played by Birdman. Pusha T putting coffins on him. Now he's skateboarding in the street, and he took that blood flag out of his pockets because he was the biggest blood that I've ever heard of. This man was the biggest blood. That man was giving blood. He was such a blood. You know what I'm saying? That was different. Every line, it was 5-star general, this and that. Then all of a sudden, he said, I ain't even the blood no more. It was done. It was over. Finito. You did? We was like, what the hell happened to Wayne? He's somewhere skating with Tony Hawk. You know what I'm saying? He went from big blood to like skate park dude. You feel me? So then we had another era, another paradigm shift. I would have to say was like 6ix9ine was a huge one. Because 6ix9ine had Trey 9 behind him and the Bloods and all of the gangsters and stuff in New York. He was going around talking shit to all of the rappers, right? And they couldn't do nothing because he had real gangsters behind him. You feel me? So they didn't really want them squabbles. So you had people like Casanova still outside and talking. The drill rappers was coming outside. You feel me? So he over there calling people bitches and calling them out. And they like, wait a minute. So now all of the personas of hip-hop, though, you like, no, these guys is real tough guys. These guys is real gangsters. Somebody go check him. And nobody did. So that's when hip-hop really became WWE after that, right? And what that did is it further took the other generations that followed that, right, and created even lower standards. The standards just keep getting lower until we have none at all. And now we in a place where hip-hop ain't got no standards. You can be anybody, right? No matter where you from, no matter what your background from, put on a beat and rap, and people will just be like, oh, you part of the culture. So therefore, culture don't have standards where anybody can be a part of it. So now we at this point in time where you have the Kendricks and the Coles, and people used to be like, nobody want to hear that. But then Cole and Kendrick outselling everybody that y'all said didn't want to hear. So it showed that this was industry. That wasn't real reality. Because Cole and Kendrick, how can they be top 3 if niggas don't want to hear that? There's a disconnect. You know what I'm saying? If niggas don't want to hear that, how is they top 3 then? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's think about that. How are they still selling? If they not top, if no people want to hear that, it's that the industry don't want to push that. They would rather give you a sexy red. So now we go into female rap. So the guys done went soft, and then the females came out, and then they became the new niggas, the new pimps. You feel me? They even was the ones talking this shit, going at each other, going back and forth. The females started to take over. They like, we outside. All of a sudden, they get patterns and flows that we actually want to hear. Because I ain't gonna lie, almost every female they'll come out with a song, and like they flow is just whack. I'm gonna be honest. For a long time, it was just like they just could not capture a good flow. Then you had the Nickies and everybody else come out and give them some flow. And then we get to a place to where you got the Sexy Reds, man. And she brung in an even lower standard in hip-hop for the females. You feel me? Because it was almost like this got to be a joke. And then it turned into a whole nother paradigm shift. And then it got so low that people want to start listening to other genres. So they like, and I'm probably skipping over a lot of details, right? But this is just where my mind is going for different paradigm shifts. So then they like, I'd rather listen to some Afro beats. I want to hear some vibes. This is wild. Y'all doing like what's going on? Because they had focused so much, just like Apple. They focused so much on, because they knew what worked. Give them another iPhone. Give them another iPhone. Give them another iPhone. Not that much. We know it works, so they go buy it. Give them another iPhone. Profits keep going up. Keep going up. Keep going up. Give them another one. Give them another one. But they're not giving us anything innovative. Steve Jobs is not there. You don't feel connected to the product. It's just consumerism. So they became really good at the industry and the business of packaging up a product, right? That people didn't feel connected to the music anymore, even though that they were consuming it. So then when other genres came and gave us vibes, we like, oh, this that feeling I'm supposed to feel. Like, all right, man, let me hear this instead of this drill shit. Like, let me vibe with this. So the industry started to focus on what's marketable, what they can package up, what they can sell, because through all of this, the the disruption of social media and this disruption of YouTube and TikTok, right? To where the TikTokification came about, to where people can just create dance songs, and that's when you get Drake creating Tootsie Slide, right? Like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Tootsie Slide was probably his worst song that I've ever heard in my life, and him and DJ Khaled dropped that shit like it was supposed to be hot. You feel me? I'm like, that was the TikTokification. So what we know is like Drake will just make a song just to sell it. It ain't got nothing to do with no art, right? And so then we get to this point in time where it's like, all right, 50th anniversary of hip hop, sales are down. The labels are not putting more money into hip hop. They not focusing on it. What can we do to bring this art back? Now, the guys that haven't been dropping for years, the Coles and the Kennys, they outside again. The Nas's is outside again. Why? Because they coming through like hip-hop superheroes. I know something wrong with Brother Axel. I don't know. You probably got a big old Drake picture in your room or something that you pray to every night, because the way you mad that I'm just giving a breakdown on hip-hop is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Drake gave me a lot of vibes. So I ain't got no problem with Drake, not in the sense of like music, but as a black American sport, yeah, we got to control it from inside the culture. It is what it is. You feel me? But I think we at this point in time where now it requires the elements and that foundation of hip hop to bring it back so that we can continue to have this thing called hip hop. Otherwise, it's gone. Otherwise, it bleeds so much over that the other genres take over and nobody gonna be interested in it no more because it's too saturated and it's too commercialized. So by bringing in the battle element, the freestyle elements, this brings back the elements, right, to where you get back to the core of it so that you can refresh the brand again to modern day. And so this is a new paradigm shift. So it's going to be interesting to see the records that come after this, after people build up an appetite for wanting to hear bars. People build up an appetite for double entendres. People get up an appetite for narratives and strategy and music. So that's why I like what it is. And then we get people to actually think again. Because when we got away from metaphors and analogies and double entendres and similes and all of these different things, it was because society was just all vibes and no thinking at all. Right? So I remember in the hood, a person can drop a goddamn bar and niggas would be down the street up and down talking about it. So this feel nostalgic to that time we was on the block and Lil Wayne to say something. We like, bro, did you hear that? And we breaking it down and it's going crazy. But this all required thinking. So when you had people like Gucci Man came in, you feel me? It had nothing to do with what he was saying. We didn't even know what he was saying half the time. We just know we were smoking a blunt and vibing to it. Then lean music come, drug addict music come. Definitely don't want to hear nothing when you high. You ain't listening to shit, you just vibing. So now this is sober. So a lot of you all may not want to listen to things when you sober. So you feel me? You feel like you got to be high and out of your mind in order to appreciate a vibe. And because most people have dedicated their lives to around the club, that they want to hear things that can get played in the club. But everybody is not living their life around the club. So therefore the music doesn't have to be club-centric music. It can be life music. And that's the difference, is that Kendrick makes life music. But when it comes to somebody who got the club on lock, Drake makes club music, and he got that on lock. And I'm not biased, because I honestly like Drake last album more than I like Kendrick last album. I like the song Father on there. I think it was flawless. I even think the album was a masterpiece. I just don't think it was for me. That's the difference. And I think where Drake was at in his mind as far as talking about, you know, what he deals with on all different sides as a man dealing with the world, I related to that one more. I'm being honest with you. So it's not a biasness whatsoever. It's just saying that this thing of hip-hop is ours. Las Costa Nostra. So that's the 19 Keys breakdown, man. It feels good to be smart. Don't it? Feels good. Feels good.